Hey everyone, Dr. H here, your friendly wargame guide at the Air Command and Staff College. Here with a video that is going to introduce you to the role of JFMCC. The JFMCC is the player that is going to control the naval pieces and is concerned with the maritime domain. So we're going to go quickly over the roles and responsibilities of the JFMCC, some products that you're going to work with, a little bit about the schedule. This is not going to teach you everything. There are going to be more videos vis-a-vis the products, vis-a-vis the rules, for you to consult. This is an introduction. This is a quick overview. So what are your responsibilities? Well, your responsibilities revolve around the maritime pieces and the maritime domain. That's your major responsibility. So I need you to advise the commander on the employment of the maritime forces. That's right. The Joint Force Commander is responsible for carrying out the mission, and you're going to tell the commander how best to employ maritime forces in pursuit of those objectives. You're going to maintain the common operating picture with reference to maritime forces and ports. All the things that affect the maritime domain, you're going to keep up to date on the common operating picture. However you guys have decided to organize the common operating picture, you're going to keep track of the maritime forces and update that common operating picture. You're going to develop a joint maritime CONOP, right? So you will, as part of your task, part of your task is to figure out what to do with maritime forces and to achieve objectives in the maritime domain. So you'll produce a concept of operations that will discuss how that's going to happen. What are you going to do with those forces? You will provide mutual support to the other combatant commanders. So this is the responsibility of all component commanders, I should say. And so mutually supporting each other is important. You will support the other component commanders. They will support you in the pursuit of wider objectives. You also need to coordinate with the AAMDC, the Area Air and Missile Defense Commander, the JFAC. You have assets that provide air defense, so you should understand the air defense plan and how you're going to fit into it and what you will provide to it and how you will conduct air defense. You will also conduct maritime forces and operations in the JOA. That's part of your job. So you'll play the maritime pieces, you'll move the maritime pieces, you'll conduct maritime combat. And you will also synchronize fires in the JOA by providing both inputs to the JIPTL and by conducting strikes. So if there are things that you need struck that you can't reach as part of your scheme maneuver, put it on the JIPTL. If you have fires in excess of your needs for supporting your scheme of maneuver, you can consult the JIPTL, see what you can strike, and hit the highest priority targets that you can reach with your own fires. Right, so it's a give and a take when it comes to the JIPTL. So what do you own? You own the CONOPS, as we mentioned previously. This is going to describe your plan for how you intend to use maritime forces in pursuit of objectives. So you'll consult the documents that talk about those objectives, the operations order, the synchronization matrix. You'll study those, you'll look at the COP, you'll understand the overall position of things, and then you will look at how you're going to employ maritime forces in the JOA to achieve your objectives. This CONOP is to be approved by the JFC, so you'll get the JFC's approval of your CONOP before you step off to go actually conduct operations. And it's the main document that they're going to look at. The other sets of documents, the decision support matrices, are really for you, right? You can show them to anybody you want. Obviously, you can get help or advice. That's perfectly fine. But you want to take your DSMs and take them with you to actually conduct operations, because things are going to not go according to plan, right? There's a chance factor. The enemy gets a vote. There's a myriad of possibilities that could come out of it, and so as using the skills that you use for co-analysis, analyze the CONOP that you're going to execute that day, then study how you're going to study it, know what can go wrong with your plan, and what you're going to change when things do go differently than plan does. I say wrong, but they can also go very right, and you want to be ready for that possibility too. In order to produce your CONOP, you're going to look at the op order. The operations order is the start to finish plan. We know that there's going to be an operations order, so you should consult the operations order to know where you are in the plan, what's going on, what everybody's up to, and how things are going overall. It's a very big picture sort of thing. You also need to consult the sync matrix. This is the JFC's turn-by-turn plan. So every turn, the JFC is going to produce a new sync matrix. Go study the sync matrix to make sure that you understand both your job, but everybody else's job, so that you understand how you fit into the bigger picture, right? So how do we do things within this picture, within the big picture, to try and accomplish the JFC objectives for this turn? That'll help you produce your con-op. The other document, another document to consult is the JIPTL, the Joint Integrated Prioritized Target List. That list, you need to provide inputs to that list. So if there are things that you need to strike in order to maneuver, you can put targets on the JIPTL and have someone strike them for you in order to enhance your maneuver. Alternatively, you may have fires that you can contribute that you don't need to hold for your own scheme of maneuver. They are fires that you can use to support other people's schemes of maneuver. Those same people are going to, those people that you're going to support are going to put targets on the JIPTL, and you can strike the ones you can strike in range that are of the highest priority. And then also the common operating picture, you will provide maritime inputs of the common operating picture. You will also study the common operating picture. So what's going on in the world, that's what's going to be on the COP. You're going to provide inputs about maritime forces. You're going to take away other people's inputs to understand the situation, to understand the overall situation in the JOA, and understand where you're going to fit and where you're going to go. So the rules you need to know, we're not going to go over this list piece by piece. We're going to make videos about everything that you need to know in terms of rules in order to conduct yourself in the war game. So you will be ready to be the JFMC. But it's almost all about the maritime pieces. You need to understand the maritime rules, the pieces for the maritime game, a little bit about how fires and how air works, because you probably have aircraft carriers and you have cruise missiles. There's a lot going on that you have. So if you understand those basic rules, you can understand how you can contribute to the fight. And your own specialty, the maritime rules. Like I said, we're going to have videos about all this stuff, so don't worry about it. Don't freak out about it, but be ready to understand and use and play the maritime game. Similarly with the schedule, we're not going to go at piece by piece by piece. You have a slightly unusual schedule, or a slightly bifurcated schedule. You'll be planning your con ops during the mornings. You'll execute a chunk of it a little bit before we go during the air naval phase. There's going to be a little bit of space before, a little bit before lunch. You'll go into lunch. You'll continue planning your con ops so that you can execute your con ops during the movement phases and move them, and you can move maritime forces around. And then you will come back after you've done your execution and start planning your con ops for the next day. Remember that ultimately the JC has to approve of your con ops, so you'll have to start thinking on Tuesday a little bit about what you're going to do Wednesday. Finish planning Wednesday morning, go out, execute it, adjust things as necessary, execute the next steps, go out there and start planning. It'll be Wednesday, so you start planning for Thursday, so you'll have to do some planning ahead of time. Anyway, that's the introduction to being a JFMC. You're going to be working with the maritime pieces. You're going to go out there. You're going to sink ships. Stuff's going to burn. It's going to be great. You're going to do fine. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.